Do you want to promote your business on Zambia?
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Do you want to promote your business on Zambia Blog Talk Radio? Yes, that's right. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio. To book your spot, just make a donation by picking from the following categories. To get started, just call or WhatsApp the number on the screen and you'll be good to go. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio every Saturday for 1 full month. And it will stay on the recorded shows.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back again. This is our second segment. Sorry about the technicalities on the first show, but it's all good. We keep forging ahead. We keep pushing. We keep moving. This is a special moment for the special friend who is about to do a special thing. And to the ZBTR family, thank you for joining us again. Just let everybody know that we are back on live again. All right, so this is a new segment that is going to commence today, and it's called Speak Your Truth. And the host and the visionary and the founder behind this great idea is none other than Mwansa Palangwa God. Mwansa has been with ZBTR from the beginning, from its inception, and so excited to have her with us and for her to see what she's doing and some wonderful stuff. Mwansa, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Honorable. Thank you very, very much, as always, for having me here.
Well, since this is your show, I don't even know why I'm saying welcome to the show, but that's the tradition. We should do it that way. So this is called Speak Your Truth. Rather than so complex, something unique, something new out there. Tell us about what you have in, what was going on when you came up with this idea.
Actually, it's a table moment with my kids. That's I came up with Speak Your Truth. I have this thing. No matter how bad something is, tell me your truth. You won't get in trouble. We'll work around it. Actually, that's how come Speak Your Truth came out. You know how kids came like, and my kids trust mommy. If mommy says, tell your truth, we work around it. Speak your truth. What happened? We work around it. We get things done more in that way. So Speak Your Truth, that also said, Vanethan, I've been on this journey for a long time. You've been my mentor, and many people listening to me in this have been my mentors. This is about girl child, women, and youth empowerment. I've never gone aside of that calling. Somebody, a very dear friend of mine, called me this morning after, before you go on this, I wanted to speak to you. This is powerful. You've been on this, and Nondom, so now I just have to call him out. And in the spirit of Easter, he told me something. You are carrying your cross. What does carrying your cross mean? It means answering your purpose. Hence, speak your truth.
Yes.
Only you can tell your story. But why do we want to put it here? Zambia Blog Talk Radio is global. We want to give our children, our women, our youth a platform that they can speak on, Most importantly, give them visibility, and so that they can be heard. You know, I learned
Yeah.
from Michelle Obama in her latest book, The Light We Speak, or the light we carry. Anything that is within you that God has given you, teach it. Maya Angelou says, when you learn, teach. When you receive, give. And I'm not here to reinvent the wheel, because a lot of people are doing this. A lot of powerful women. We were just in Vegas a couple of years, Vanathan, you and me, where I met a lot of powerful women doing this. So my vision on this is visibility for the kids that are on the ground, mentorship, networking, collaboration, and accountability. Why do I say that? It's bridging two words. We went to Algoa.
Mansa, let me stop you right there before you go very far with that. So
Yes,
this
sir.
was birthed out of a conversation that you had with your kids, and the kids, like you say, understand that you need to, mommy wants us to speak our truth, and that is very important. How do you take that into the greater community? A conversation or a principle, a value that is within your family, your inner family, how do you take that to a greater platform?
Exactly. I like that question. Actually, that's the whole point. It's to, like, I was speaking to my sister yesterday. She's like, Mansa, can you bring it down? What is speak your truth? I'm like, when we go down, let them, most of the times we want to speak and then to be heard, but we don't give our women, our girl child and women to be heard. So let them speak their truth, and they'll come on this show, because this will be a bi-weekly show. So they'll come here, you hear your truth, their truth. There is two powerful ladies here. I won't even say what. You hear their truth, and from their truth, we can we can find resources, because I know the power of the platform. The three of us who are on the platform of the most powerful woman in the world, listening cause, she's given us authority to go and be the truth in your community, right? Sorry, I speak with my hands. I'm very expressive. So bear with me on that. It's
That's
my
okay.
way of communication. So taking it to our community, I am taking it to our community by hearing. Phoebe is taking it to her community by hearing, and like you are hearing my truth. I came with this and in this speaking to my children, but also it's a journey I've been on for the longest time, and you've been part of it. And a lot of people have been part of it. So when we hear our children's truth, and we're going to be very intentional. That's the thing, very intentional. We need to be intentional to hear our women, our girl child, and our youth. And from being intentional, we can find resources. We are a powerful force here. Somebody who hears something here can bring out, like, oh, what that child said, I can be able to help in this way, because I can't do it by myself. But we're a global community. It takes a village to raise a child, but we're taking a global world, everybody, to raise Africa. We can, for us by us, the world, India, United States, yeah, United Kingdom, Canada, everywhere, everybody. So is that's how I'm taking it to the community. Let's speak your truth. We'll bring people here. You hear a lot of people on our show. And most importantly, Vanathan, and I want to really cement this, because transformation takes time. So what we're gonna do, we have a Facebook page. We have a Facebook private group, because nobody can is free or wants to speak like we're talking, you and me, right? So where they can ask questions, we're gonna be mentoring. So it won't just be on Zambia Blog Talk Radio. We'll take it out of here. We're gonna be mentoring. We're gonna follow up, and I know we'll be having a lot of questions. And not only that, we're writing a book on it, and we're gonna do a world tour. That's how I'm bringing it to the community.
No, so Mwansa, obviously, Speak Your Truth is a talk show. The people watching, what type of content should they? What type of things are going to be discussed on this talk show, and what should they expect?
They'll expect a lot of mentorship. Like I said from the beginning, it's simple. Maya Angelou says, when you give, when you receive, give. When you learn, teach. On this show, I intend to do both, because I've been given a lot. To whom much is given, much is expected, right? And I've been taught a lot. I've been taught a lot. And from my teaching, I want to teach. From advantage, like Tony Robbins and Lisa Nichol would say, and what I know. But you also have to go into your individual communities in order to spread this. Sometimes we cannot hear until we see somebody who's like me. You cannot know it. I remember when I was February 11th, 1990, a day just after my 13th birthday. I've given out my birthday to the whole world. Yes, I'm that old. Nelson Mandela was released from jail, and I was watching on the TV and glued, and like, oh my God. So I can do that? The patience of it all. I'm a late bloomer. But you know, when you see it, it's cemented in your mind and in your head, right? So when they hear us and when they see us, and we are very intentional about it, consistency is the key. We have not been consistent with our girl child, our youth, and our women, especially on the grassroots. And mentorship. So we're going to be mentoring. There are some people that won't be able to log into this because it could be very expensive for them. But the ones that can log in will be mentoring. You see a lot of different speakers here all over the world to teach, to mentor. And them that can hear and mentor, guess what? We are expecting, as Maya Angelou says, when you learn, teach. We want them to go to schools, Kukalingalinga, Kungombe, everywhere in Zimbabwe, in Kenya, all over the people that are listening. And you know, Ranathan, you've been part of my Awaken the Giant. You've listened in. We have people from Nigeria. I mentor a lot of people. So I know a power of the platform. And this is a bigger platform than what I've done. I don't know if that answers you.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's spice up this conversation. You have two guests that you have come with. So I'm going to let you introduce your first guest, and then you pick up the conversation.
Thank you. So my first guest, as I said, the power of collaboration. The vision for Speak Your Truth is visibility, mentorship, network, collaboration, and accountability. But the power of accountability is I met these two powerful women on Elevate Yourself, Lisa Nichols conference. You know, even in this time, you know how we have education. We want to promote self-education, the importance of it apart from the school curriculum. That's how I made these ladies online, by the way, should I say. And they are powerful women. And guess what? They are 20 years younger than me. Oh, God. And they are my mentors.
Oh Lord,
And
did you have
we
to
have
go? Did you have to go
accountability.
there?
Yes, no, I have to, because I have to give them kudos. So my first guest,
Okay,
I'll
okay.
let her speak her truth, is Dr. Kudzai Piri. Miss Petra Piri, please, it's your turn.
Well, thank you so much, Mwansa, for the opportunity. I am thrilled to be here. And I was just going through some of the things when Mwansa asked me to speak my truth. And the truth is, I didn't know where to start because there's so much. I'm even writing a book about my own life. And I just realized that with the audience that we're targeting, maybe let me start from high school. You see, I was a higher achiever in high school. I'm grateful that I'm an intelligent student, but I faced a lot of challenges in trying to please those around me. And I never got that acceptance. I always felt I was rejected, I wasn't loved, I wasn't received. Even my own teachers at some point mocked me. That started in primary school. We went on to high school. I had to wear on this jacket and shield myself and be this superwoman for myself, because I realized that the world around me did not accept me. The world around me never really understood who I was except for my own mother, which was hard because everywhere we are as a child, you're trying to fit in. Even if you're in the high achievers class, even if you're with science students, you're trying to fit in. But still, I felt something missing. Came to sixth form. My mom started running this business that included mentorship and transformation coaching. And I became part of it. That's when I realized I was been called to something more than just being a student. And from that young age, I started even mentoring the people around me, and I started speaking as well. And I'm still growing. But it caught up with me, all that baggage, trying to hide, bottling up all the emotions, everything. It caught up to me. It caught up with me when I turned 24. You see, I was in high school. I was now in college then. And I thought everything was fine. But I realized I'd been depressed because the continuous pattern of rejection, abandonment, and everything was now catching up with me because I'd kept it in, trying to fight and rise up and rise up and rise up all the time. But I never really worked on my emotions. I never really worked on the hurt feelings I had, my childhood trauma, the childhood abuse I faced, everything. I never worked on it because I was running away from it. So what happened? How did I find out that things weren't going well? It started off by not being motivated to read because I love reading. I love writing. But I didn't feel like doing it anymore. I didn't want to give myself enough time to check in on myself. I just wanted to hide away in fantasy. So movies became my drug. I didn't want to be around people. I isolated myself. I put myself in a position where no one would ask me questions, and at the same time, I wouldn't really work on myself. But this state wasn't where I was meant to be. This wasn't my calling. I wasn't called to be depressed. I wasn't called to feel like I can't fit in anywhere. So I had to be like, Kudzi, now it's the time to take life seriously. And I began my journey. I'm still growing. I'm still recovering. I'm still working on myself while motivating the people around me. My dreams and goals, they're coming and I'm achieving them. But the beauty is I'm healing at each phase. I no longer have to hide. I no longer have to bottle up my emotions. Right now, I can feel like, I'm not happy about this thing, and I work on it. And at the same time, meet my targets and meet my goals. I was able to graduate. I'm a dentist. Yes, it wasn't what I planned when I was in high school, because in high school, I wanted to become an ophthalmologist, so I had to become a medical doctor first. Unfortunately, in Zimbabwe, I don't know in Zambia, but in Zimbabwe, if you don't have straight A's, you can't make it into medical school. I had B's. I don't know, for that year, my results did not come as straight A's. There were B's, and I could not make it. South Africa changed their rules. They could not take me in to do medicine, because then they were like, in the SADC countries, if you're in SADC countries and your country has a medical school, you won't be eligible to study in South Africa. So South Africa would say no to me. And I had no option but to go to India. And guess what? India was the pinnacle of my life, because it changed so many things. It opened my life in so many dimensions, spiritually, physically, even my relationships with others, getting to know people, getting to relate with people from other countries, just being in a whole new environment that helped me to grow mentally and become this person that I'm proud of, this woman that keeps on growing and developing each and every day. It's been exciting. The same can happen to you. Trust me. The same can happen to you. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different backgrounds. Not all of us who came out on, everything being offered on the silver platter. But still, life can be breathtaking if you give yourself a chance. Thank you.
Wow. Amazing, Piri. That's amazing. Powerful story right there. And okay, once we have another guest that is going to tell her truth.
Yes, but Mr. Nkama, can I ask you a question? Do you see why I wanted?
Yes, please go ahead.
When you asked me when we were talking about launching, you say as a launcher you have to be there, as the dreamer you have to be the one to present this. But do you see why I wanted this? Speak your truth in motion. Because I can't speak her truth. You see how she elaborated her truth. And Kudzai, dog, I'm in tears. And I know you'll hear from Kudzai. She's a friend of the show. You see us on the world tour. We're actually doing a book, Resurrecting the Shiro. But without further ado, let me introduce the powerhouse transformational speaker from China, Kenya. She is amazing. Let me not say. Phoebe is here. I'll keep my mouth shut. We can hear you, Phoebe.
There I go.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know how to match what Petra just did. She just kicked it out of the park. And I can't help but be honored to be here right now and to have this conversation right now, because when one of us reached out to me, I said yes. Before my mind before my negative self-talk kicked in, I said yes, and I was excited for the opportunity. But as time went by, I remember sitting and thinking, oh my God, speak your truth. How am I supposed to speak my truth? And I remember sitting down earlier today, and I spent so much time just reflecting on what I wanted to share today. And to be honest, I wanted to bail because I did not think that I had anything of consequence to share. Speak your truth. Who wants to listen to a 24-year-old? Well, I'll be 25 next week, but still. And sitting in that space, I wanted to bail because you see, sometimes we have a tendency to say yes to the calling on our lives. And at the very last minute, we back out. When our life is pulling us forward, our hearts are pulling us forward, and our mind talking us out of the very things we know we ought to do. I ask this, has there ever been a time in your life where you know that this is what you're meant to be doing, that this is the next best step for you, and then you back out because you don't think that your story is impactful enough, that your story is good enough or worthy of being listened to by thousands of people all around the world? If you have, I need you to know that you're not alone, because today I almost didn't show up. But here I go. And oh my God, where do I begin? Wow. 6.5 years ago, I got on a plane in Nairobi, Kenya, with my daddy and with a one-way flight ticket, with a suitcase full of clothes, a belly full of fear, and a heart full of passion. I left the only place I'd called home my entire life, flew halfway across the world to pursue my dream. And in just a few months, in exactly 2 months, I'll be getting my master's in aerospace engineering as one of 4 female students. That completely blows my mind. And while I'm completely blown away by that, having lived in this foreign amazing country called China, I've had the opportunity, the grand opportunity to attend pageants like Miss Imperial International and Miss Universe in China. I've had the privilege to work as a model, and that blows my mind too. And I'm eternally grateful for the beautiful life that I've created here. I'm really, really grateful. But my greatest achievement has been falling, madly in love with the most important person in my life, me. Every single morning, getting the amazing opportunity to look at the girl in the mirror and say, I love you, that has got to be my greatest achievement. Because it wasn't always this way. You see, I remember 3 years ago, while on a walk with someone I'd come to know, love, and date for over 3 years, where he uttered words that shattered my world in seconds. Baby, don't you think our lives would be better had we not met? And as those words rolled out his tongue, my throat burned. Doesn't he know that I can't live without him? That my life would be devoid of meaning? That I need his validation? Doesn't he know that? I felt as though I'd been stabbed with a blunt and rusty knife repeatedly. And the ground that I'd been standing on my entire life dissipate into nothingness. 5 months. For 5 months, I held on to a relationship that was already over. For 5 months, I lived beneath rock bottom and walked outside my body. On one hand, a bottle of wine, and a cell phone on the other, scrolling, sipping, scrolling, and sipping some more, hoping and waiting that somebody would call me and save me from myself. That somebody would call me and tell me that this nightmare would be over soon. I remember this one night, sitting on my kitchen floor with my feet crossed, and all the broken pieces of my heart splayed in front of me. How did I get here? How have I spent so much time wrapping who I am into somebody else that I've no idea where they end, nor where I begin? How did I get here? And the most important question was, how do I get out? With a voice barely audible, I remember holding my own shoulders, giving myself a nice hug. This slow, this broken, Never again. Never again. And I spent the next 9 months of my life working tirelessly to find who I was, to find myself again, to rebuild myself from scratch, to fall in love with the girl that I knew I could be. I spent so much time. And I remember coming across this video on YouTube that changed my life, a video by Lisa Nichols where she spoke about how she brought herself from nothingness into something and into someone, how she turned her walk, her crawl into a walk, and then her walk into a run, and her run into a soar. And I did 3 things. Every day I got in the mirror and I said, Phoebe, honey, I celebrate you for getting out of bed today. Phoebe, I forgive you for losing yourself in someone else. Oh, and honey, I promise that I'll keep showing up for you. I will keep showing up for you no matter what. I'll keep showing up for you. And one day, the sun seemed to shine a little brighter. And oh my God, finally, I could breathe again. I could breathe with so much ease and peace and grace. I could breathe for the first time in a long time. From moving from that place where I felt as though my entire life felt like a rock sitting on my chest to finally breathing again. I could breathe because finally I found my way back to me. That was the beginning of my self-love journey. That was how I became my own best friend. So now my question to you is, where does your self-love begin? Where does your self-love stem from? Where is your self-love? Thank you so much.
Wow. Well, everybody watching, that is Speak Your Truth. Yeah. Mwansa, I think let's do this. A lot of people are relating with this and they are appreciating what you ladies are doing. Can you please, I'll put up the comments there and I would like you to read what people are saying. All right. Mwansa, are you able to read that?
I'm not able to read anything. I just said this is powerful, ladies. What you sent at 11:17. But can I just speak something quickly on Phoebe? This woman, she's only 24 years old. Could I? Sorry. Yes. Phoebe is only 24. She is graduating as an aerospace engineer. Dr. Kudzai there. Doctor. And and these women have lived in foreign countries by themselves, done a lot of hard stuff. For Phoebe, you cannot teach what you do not know, and you are not allowed to go before people if you do not invest in yourself. These young women here, they have invested in themselves. They have done anything they can do, legally, so that, to go see, yeah, because people say anything like, okay, I'm going to do anything. So that they pay to be, to sit on this feet of Lisa Nichols, Tony Robbins, and all the people. Invest in yourself. We'll be doing this every week, every other week. Come and sit and learn. These women pay thousands of dollars to do this. Phoebe, you are amazing. Dr. Kudzai, you're amazing. And yes, let's listen to what people are saying. And I can't say enough, and I can't say anything anyway. Right. I'm speechless.
Okay, let's read what the people are saying. Nasilele says, Fevi Maya, you can say that again. Always be in love with the greatest person in you, which is yourself. That was a very profound statement you made, Fabi. Very profound. About, I mean, said you fell in love with, I'm sure everybody was expecting the name of some guy or some person, you know. Dr. Musanje says the world needs inspiration. Speak the truth. We hear you. Okay. Oh, it's powerful. Okay. Clementina says some people think that truth can be hidden with a little cover up and decoration. But as time goes by, what is true is revealed and what is fake fades. I hear you inspiring. That's very powerful. Oh my goodness. We appreciate everybody. Okay. Yeah, and Sama says very true, dear, so true. And probably let's read one more here before we can go. All right. Winnie says this is nice. This is very nice. Okay. And all right. Wow, ladies. Oprah Saulu says, wow, ladies. All right, Mwansa. So this is good. This is good. Dr. Piri, one of the things that especially you ladies face is this issue of a poor self-image. You talked about being bullied from teachers. I mean, what lessons should everybody watching, especially the young girls, what lessons should they hear from you? Speak your truth to that aspect of being bullied.
Okay. For me, I'm grateful for my mother and my grandmother because they're the people that, like, their words kept on running up in my head. Like when people question my beauty or my intelligence, I'll just hear my mom's voice saying, "You are beautiful. You're strong. You're beautiful. You're strong. You're intelligent," all the time. Because, you know, being bullied is a challenge because you start questioning yourself. You're coming home and your family is happy with who you are, and you come to school and everyone is like, who are you? You know, that giving that kind of question mark about who you are. But for me personally, I had to learn. It was the repetition of those words in my mind. And at the same time, I learned to appreciate who I was. Because trust me, at some point, one of my friends at the time, we were talking and I started laughing. And then she was like, Kudzai, your laugh is very ugly. The way you smile is so ugly. So imagine for over about 2 years after that, I would smile, I would laugh like this. I would cover my face whenever I'm smiling. I would cover my face whenever I'm laughing. So that, because her words, they had such an impact in my life. But with time, I had to learn that, you know, it's not everyone who claims to love you actually loves you. Some people will say things, they will act like they're in your circle, but really they're not happy with who you are. They're not happy with your beauty. They don't celebrate who you are as much as you think they do. And when I started learning that and realizing, I think my primary school, there was so much drama with such betrayals, friends, and all that, that I realized that I was putting so much faith in other people, you know, when it comes to bullies, thinking that, you know, these people could validate who I was. So imagine at that age, I just had to understand that this is me. I am Kudzai. I am beautiful. I am intelligent. I am powerful. And when I realized that, I stopped trying to please everyone in primary school and focus on building myself. I didn't know it was self-life then. I didn't know about transformation then. I just knew this is what works for me. So let me do things that actually work for me.
Amazing. Fabi, before I hand over back to Mwansa, you spoke about this, and I'm going to tell you this thing about self-love, loving yourself. It has literally hit everybody watching into our faces like, wow. You know, how significant is that? can you speak to the significance of self-wealth, with self-love, self-care, I can continue the list.
Wow, I really love that question because I'm a girl who comes from a beautiful family, from a beautiful country, and I was brought up in a beautiful household whereby we were taught to love each other. And while I appreciate that lesson, no one ever told me to love myself. I know the verse that says, love everybody else like you love yourself, but no one ever taught me how to love me.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, as a woman, you're meant to serve everybody else and serve yourself last. You're meant to, when you make dinner, you're supposed to make dinner and pour for everybody else and serve yourself last each and every time. So what was illustrated and elaborated for me was to put everybody else first, and I came last. And then I became a model, and while everybody else told me I was beautiful, I didn't feel that way. All I could see was all the flaws on me. And so, looking from that tiny little girl, I'm turning 25 on Wednesday next week on the 12th of April, and I think the little girl that I once was is really proud of who I am today, because while I love Monsa and I love Petra, they've been my friends for over a year now. And while they tell me I'm inspiring, it's meaningless if I don't say that to myself. Learning to validate Phoebe, because I spent 100% of time with Phoebe. I only get to meet them once in a while. So every day waking up and saying, Phoebe, I love you. And when I mess up, I say, Phoebe, I love you. And when I have a rough day, I say, Phoebe, I love you. And I give myself a high five every day. When I make it to the gym, I give myself a high five every day. Learning to say no, because every time I try to impress everybody else, I end up disappointing myself and liking myself just a little less. And therefore, saying that I am going to put me first, that self-love is not selfish. Self-love is actually a service, because everybody else, your line as a servant, your line is always going to be long. And that means you have to be the first person on your line. You have to pour into yourself. You have to pour from your overflow, because when you pour from your overflow, you will never run out. And so right now, the significance of self-love, I dream of a world where tiny little girls aren't seen as tiny anymore, because they love who they are, they own who they are, they are courageous, audacious, and bodacious each and every day, where tiny little girls are taught to say I love you to the girl they see in the mirror every day, where tiny little girls, where that 5-year-old girl, that 19-year-old girl, that 50-year-old girl, because we are all little girls inside of us, where that 90-year-old girl says, I love me, and I don't apologize for it. Because when you love yourself too much and your light shines too bright, many people don't recognize that. And so you're called proud and called names, but loving yourself is a service, and no one should be ashamed of that. No one should be ashamed of putting themselves first, because that is what is needed of you in order to show up as who you were always meant to be. So self-love, I say self-love is the greatest love of all, because when you love you, then you're able to love everybody else. When you love you, you're able to serve from your overflow and not to your detriment. So self-love is everything. I dream of a world where we all hold hands by the beach someday and yell and say self-love is the greatest love of all, where we have lessons on self-love. School teaches an entire syllabus on self-love, because when we can all love ourselves, when we can all love ourselves and don't apologize for it, then you're no longer comparing yourself to anybody else.
Exactly.
That's my dream.
Monsa, what next? When is the next show, and what should we expect on Speak Youth as we wind up our conversation?
Let me not say everything has been said. Can you all see the power of accountability partners? This is what I said with, if I'm lazy, they'll call me out. And we call each other out. Visibility, seeing. Next time you see it, we'll post it. We are having a very powerful woman, Samach Konkolonex, but these women will bring up, let me not spoil with Let's sit in the moment and soak in what these powerful ladies have spoken their truth in. Can we leave it at that? Because it's been powerful.
All right, that's good. So that people. So what's the date? What's the date for the next show? What's the date for the next show?
After next, every other week. So not this week, every other week.
Every other week.
Yes. So if you have a calendar in front of you,
on Saturday, same
Let
time.
me help
Yes,
you
the
out.
same time.
On the 22nd.
Yes.
22nd
So
of
after,
April.
so not this Saturday, the next Saturday.
Mhm.
Same time, yeah.
And we'll post some information on
Second
Zambia Blog Talk
Saturday,
Radio, and also
same time.
yes, and we'll
Yeah.
post some information where you can find us. Those that are just not reactors and are really want to learn, you have a private group, speakyourtruth.com. Speak Your Truth as a private Facebook group, and then we have MPG Speak Your Truth YouTube, and we also have a private Facebook page that we're on. You can reach us on because nobody is able to be as eloquent, not even be like Miss Phoebe, Dr. Kudayi. That's why I say, when I say they are my mentors, we build each other. Does anybody see why? If you see, please, in the Facebook, just say yes, yes, yes. Because these young ladies in a year, they have changed my life around. There was a time I was depressed, I was weak, I was sick.
Excellent.
They picked me up. And that's what we can do. Hence, Speak Your Truth, the platform. So let's do it on the week after that, and we'll be happy to be here.
22nd.
And you can reach us offline.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right, everybody. That's the first in shows to come today of Speak Your Truth. Join us again Saturday, say 22nd April, same time. We'll be sharing information on all the platforms. Next time.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.